Hi, welcome to Closing Time. I'm Amanda Armstrong.
And I'm Rhendy Bradshaw.
Rhendy, what's in your cup this morning?
I have an iced latte in my cup. What about you?
I have a caramel vanilla latte.
Yum.
I have half sweet. Sometimes when I get to the bottom, the sweet kind of sinks, and it's not great.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of full-flavored drinks. Lindley will put more and more flavoring in and sugar, and she can't get it sweet enough. But I like to really be able to taste the coffee still.
Same.
Yes.
Same. It's almost like when Lana makes something here at the house, it's, do you want some creamer with your coffee? Or your coffee with your creamer?
Yeah.
Because they put so much. But these are from, we did not go anywhere today.
Nope.
These are from my house. We have like syrups and stuff, and I think having Amalia as a barista from Blooms, I tend to now stock the house with making our own drinks because everyone wants refreshers and coffees and matchas. Hello, they're making matchas at home now.
Yes.
So it's just so nice to have it here.
Yeah, and you know, Lindley loves to make my 14-year-old, she loves to make the dirty sodas.
Yes.
So we have like the coconut, the peach, the cherry, the hazelnut. We have like all of these different syrups and different creamers, and she makes some great little treats. I got all sugar free.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll make it sometimes with my Diet Coke and put a little Premier Protein in there for my vanilla flavor.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I never made dirty sodas like that. My dirty sodas where you go to the gas station and you just put every single one in one cup. So it would be like Fanta and Barks root beer and Diet Coke and Dr. Pepper and Sprite. And it was never good. Everyone acted like it was just, it was great, but it was disgusting.
We called those suicides.
Yes. Yes.
Aptly named.
Yes. Yes.
All that sugar would put me under.
Yes, no kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, rapid fire questions.
Yep, let's do it.
Dream listing. What would be your dream listing?
I want to talk about yours first.
Oh, mine. You guys, I would love to list an animal sanctuary. And I think because I would never leave, I would just sit there all the time and play with the animals.
Yes.
I love animals, but I think it would be really cool to sell some type of property like that. I would probably end up trying to convince John this is what we need to do. But he'll probably say no. 1 or 2 dogs is plenty.
Yes.
But how awesome is it that they have so many of those? I follow a couple of them on TikTok.
Do you follow Ruby's Rescue here, like just outside of town?
Yes.
On Facebook?
And Wishbone.
So cute. Yeah.
There's so many animals that need homes, guys.
Yeah.
Adopt, don't shop.
I hate to talk about when Joe meets his demise, but I was just, that Joe's our dog. I was just saying to Chad, like, wouldn't it be nice to, like, adopt next time, because we did buy Joe from a breeder or whatever, like an in-home breeder, and he's been great, but also I don't really want to go through potty training again with a puppy.
I know.
Because
my first 2 dogs were both adopted, but my first one was a greyhound, so he clearly did not know what a house was, did not know what stairs, and I had to potty train him, teach him everything. And then Guinevere, our Airedale Terrier, she was given to us in Washington State. So Louis is the first one that I have bought, but he's so good. I love him so much.
He's a good boy. You're just taking a snooze right now.
Yeah, snoozers. So yeah, animal sanctuary. That's what I would love to list. Something like that.
I would love to list a lake house because I love the lake. I love the like cottagey vibes. I think a great retirement would be to move to the Lake of the Ozarks and be an agent there. Oh, that'd be so fun. I could get a little boat, drive it around to my listings. Oh, yeah. Wouldn't that be the most fun?
That would be fun. Yeah. I do like Ozarks. I haven't been there since I've been in high school.
Okay.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
So are you a boater? Do you like to boat? You guys used to have a boat.
Yeah, we did have a boat for a couple of years until the kids just kind of activities took over our lives and we could never get out.
Yeah.
I loved it so much. I did one time embarrass myself at Lake Shelbyville. Actually, Chad embarrassed himself. Well, you know what? Let's put it on him.
Okay.
Because we were parking, and he was telling me to grab the edge, and I'm like, okay, you know, going into Lake Shelbyville's, like, restaurant. So I'm like, okay, grabbing it. He decides that he's going to, like, adjust without giving me proper notice, and I fell in. Between the dock and the boat. I thought I was a goner. Here I am.
I don't know anything about what you're talking about.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
So when you pull up to the dock,
Yes.
someone has to grab the dock and like give them a rope or something.
Yes,
so I'm like trying to hold on to the dock, and Chad's like adjusting, coming away from the dock. So
you did.
I had to let go, and I fell in, and that was humiliating. Honestly, I wish I would have sunk to the bottom and never come back up. I'm glad we don't go there anymore.
Good thing you got rid of that boat.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I couldn't handle it.
You're like, we're done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fancy wine fridge or dreamy walk-in pantry?
Oh, this is probably really hard for you because you love a good glass of wine.
Or two.
Mm-hmm. And you like cold wine.
I do. I love cold wine. Mm-hmm. I would pick a dream-in walk-in pantry.
Yeah, because you could have your wine fridge
exactly. Can I not have both?
Why do you have to choose?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Life. Yeah.
So you would probably pick the fancy walk-in pantry.
I probably would. Yeah. I would love to have that. I mean, I would love it if my refrigerator was not in my kitchen. You know, if it was just like behind the kitchen a little bit. Because it's not that cute.
Yeah.
Get it out of there.
I love my refrigerator.
You do?
I like it being, I don't have a TV screen or anything crazy on it, but it's just very satisfying when I open it and see all the lights. GE profile. That's what I have. Love it.
That's what we have too, but guess what? Mine's original to my home.
Oh, yeah.
Still going strong. Plug for GE profile.
There you
apparently.
go. Thank you, GE profile.
Yeah.
Well, okay,
Sponsor
so here's
us.
my question about a walk-in pantry.
Yeah.
Do they have, like appliance room? Mm-hmm. I have seen in really extravagant homes, like, is it called a butler's pantry?
Butler's pantry, yes.
Yes, like behind the kitchen where it's just like all your appliances and like countertop appliances, mixers and stuff.
Yes.
That's what that's called. Because I think those are so cool. I've seen a couple of those, and they are so neat.
So that kind of, I'm going to skip ahead to the bougie client.
Okay.
Question. I know we were going to talk about our bougiest client. Okay, so the bougie client that I was going to talk about built their home, and they had a butler's pantry.
Oh.
I know. I felt like I helped them pick out finishings and things and the layout, and I felt like I was building my dream home that I wasn't going to live in, unfortunately. But they had, it was big. It was such a big butler's pantry.
Yeah.
And it was right off of the kitchen, so you could see it from the kitchen. It had a beautiful arched way, but it had tons of prep space. It had the microwave, the refrigerator. It had another sink.
Really?
All cabinets, lots of cabinets in there. I mean, I don't even know what they kept in their real kitchen.
I mean, nothing on the counter, which is
nothing
nice.
on the
nice
counter.
And clean. Perfect for showings.
Yes. Yeah.
Decluttering.
Here's a tip. If you want to list your home with us, get a butler's pantry.
Yes. Or we'll help you build a house that has that.
Exactly.
Yes.
We'll also list a house without a butler's pantry.
Yes. So do you prefer an open concept home or a home that has like cozy charm?
But I want an open concept with cozy charm. I like an open concept. I like to be able to hang out with people in the living room while I'm cooking, or when you're hosting. I feel like that's so ideal. But I do like cozy charm. I like the house to feel like soft.
I feel like your house is like that. It does feel like cozy and charming, but it's not like 1940s charming where things are chopped up. It's a very open concept charming. I do love your home for that.
I remember when we were looking for homes, our agent, Danny, he told us that our layout was one of his favorite layouts in town.
Yeah, I love your layout.
Yeah.
It's
I
cute.
like it. Now, we don't use the dining room. My next, project that I would like to do is to make that more of a hangout room and get 4 big comfy chairs, a bit kind of like a game room
or a bourbon room.
Yeah, for Chad.
Have a tasting room.
Yeah, we could get that stuff out of his office and let him have it in there.
Yeah,
that would be nice for him. Maybe we'll let him even hang one of his deer heads on the wall. Just kidding. It's right at the front of the house. He would love that. What about you?
I'm kind of the same. I really like an open concept home because the sense of community is better with that versus a chopped up. But I really love the charm of the older, early 1900s home, the big woodwork, the trim. It's just pretty and they do feel just really cozy.
Cozy, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And right now to build something like that, it's more expensive because there's so much wood involved and it's very intricate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't choose just one. I'd have to do both.
I know. I love a little library room.
Yes.
Love a little library room.
Yeah. So they're there are clients of mine that may be listening a year, and behind they have a big open concept home. They have a huge kitchen, family room. Then they have a see-through fireplace, and they have a library built behind it.
Cool.
It is so cute. So cute. Yeah.
Maybe if we're in the market.
Maybe. So fancy spa, bathroom, or a big backyard.
I'm panicking.
Backyard.
I don't know.
You're like, I love a big backyard just because I have King Louis here. Like, he loves to be in the backyard, and I do love that. When we had a gathering this past weekend, we had invited people and all their dogs to come over, and it was just perfect because all the dogs were running around in the trees, and I love that. So I would, hands down, backyard.
I would love a nice bathroom. I really would, with like a dressing room. I could maybe even have a library in there, like in my dressing room.
Yes.
Sky's the limit, really,
if
we're dreaming.
Like underneath a window, like a bench.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cute, too.
Yeah.
I do love a big bathroom that has a huge closets with it, that in the middle of it has an island for, like, a dresser instead of having it in your room.
Yeah.
It's neat.
Very cool.
Okay. So today we are going to, I think we're done with those because you already talked about your bougie client with a butler pantry.
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about, you got an offer. You're under contract. Now what happens?
Yeah. You got an offer. So we're talking from the seller's perspective. Is that right? Or are we talking buyer's perspective?
I think we're talking about from the buyer's perspective.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we win the offer.
Yeah, we win the offer.
We
win the offer, yes. Because typically, Rhendy and I prefer to have a buyer consultation. Yeah. So we kind of walk through this entire process with our buyers prior to seeing homes. Yeah. Sometimes there's situations where they need to see a home immediately, and we don't really have, like, they weren't expecting to look at something immediately. So then we kind of walk through the process. Do it on the fly. Yeah, do it on the fly. Yeah. So that's kind of what our goal is today, is kind of like talk people through exactly, like, you got an accepted offer, here's a process, here's what's happened next.
Yeah. So one thing that I think a lot of buyers don't think about is the upfront costs, aside from their down payment for a home. So one of those upfront costs is earnest money. So earnest money is a good faith down payment that you submit with your offer. It can be a check or electronic. It's not cashed, we'll say in air quotes, until your offer is accepted.
Correct.
So you have to remember that is typically, I like to tell my clients, around 1%. I can't say typically, but I think that's a good amount. Yeah. Because it shows the seller that you're all in, you're putting a little skin in the game. You're not just making offers on houses just for funsies. Yeah.
And keep in mind, I think you might have mentioned this, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating. It gets checked. It gets cashed. Yeah. So that does go towards your final numbers at closing. It gets held in an escrow account, a non-interest bearing account. Yep. And it gets held and it's applied to your final numbers. So it's not anything additional that you have to have outside your down payment. Yeah. It's just basically a very small portion of the down payment is a kind of a good way to look at it.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Another thing we want to talk about our deadlines with our buyers. The financing deadline, there's an application deadline. So typically I give my buyers 2 business days. Is that about what you do? Same. Yeah. To get in touch with their lender, put in the formal application, because of course they're going to go through the pre-approval process beforehand, but that's not your actual application. Right. So that's a good distinction, I think, to make.
Yeah. So our transaction coordinators will send the lender all the documentation they need. So then they reach out to the buyer and make sure that the lender and buyer connect within 2 business days to get that rolling.
Yes.
So
yeah, that's important. Another deadline that you want to keep an eye on, which has to do with your financing, is the appraisal deadline. The appraisal deadline is not just that you had to have had the appraisal completed, but that you have the results turned in and we know what the home appraised for.
Right. So we have to turn that into, let's just say we buy a house and the appraisal comes in a little short. We have a specific deadline to let the seller know, hey, look, our appraisal is a little short. We will need to readdress this and look for maybe a renegotiation of the purchase price.
And if you don't do it by that deadline,
you're on the hook.
You're on the hook to buy the house, whether or not the lender will lend you the full amount or not.
So you might have to come up with extra funds on your own if we do not stay in line with our deadlines, which, you know, we're both good at that. We keep things on path for you, which is why you work with a lender to keep up to date on all these deadlines.
Exactly.
The next one is an inspection deadline.
Yep.
So kind of same with the appraisal. It's not a deadline. The inspections have to happen by then. All inspections have to happen, and any type of requests that you have need to be turned into the seller. So let's say you have inspection deadline of August 10th. I would not recommend having your inspections on August 10th because if something were to need additional, like you have an electrical issue or a roofing issue, something like that, we have the opportunity to bring in some contractors, take a look at it, see what it might cost to get it fixed and addressed.
Yeah.
So we don't want to push that out too far.
Right. Speaking of inspections, there are lots of different home inspections that you can have. Just a few of them are a full home inspection where they go in and kind of address the major issue or the major components of the home, plumbing, electric, your mechanicals, things like that. You can also have a radon inspection done.
Let me ask you about radon inspection.
Yeah.
So if there was a radon system in place at the home at the time of the offer, and it appears that it's working, you know, the levers are offset with one another, you can kind of hear the motor blowing with the radon mitigation system. When a buyer asks you, do you think we should have an inspection? What do you say?
I leave it to them.
Yeah.
I say, it's been mitigated. It could be still high. Sounds like it's working. It's up to you. I leave it to them. What do you do?
Exact same thing.
Yeah.
I just tell them, hey, it's here.
Yep.
But it's up to you if you still want to follow through because, like you said, it could be high.
Yeah. Yep. You can have a sewer inspection, which we definitely suggest if you live in an older neighborhood.
100%.
Because anything from the house to the street is the responsibility of the homeowner. So if you've got lots of roots in the system or they're old clay pipes and they're crumbling, that could be an expensive fix.
Yeah.
So if you have the opportunity to have a sewer scope done, it's a good idea.
Yes. Other inspections, you could have a mold inspection if you suspect there might be some type of organic growth going on. You want to probably always have a mold inspection because mitigating that is really expensive because if it's black mold, it can be really dangerous to the respiratory system.
Yes.
So it's really expensive to take care of. So it's always a recommendation to have that if you suspect anything.
Yes, and in one of my first transactions, the home inspector found suspected mold organic growth behind the washer and dryer. So we had a follow-up inspection done. Luckily, we had plenty of time to do that within our deadline. And it was found all over the basement. So they had to take out, there was a wet bar they had to take out. They had to take out drywall 4 feet from the floor. They had to take out all of the flooring. So it's worth it if you just to at least have a follow-up if you suspect something because the problem, we couldn't see it with our eyes because it was behind the washer and dryer. So luckily our home inspector did a thorough job and we knew to have the follow-up.
Excellent. And the last two that we're going to talk about is a septic and well inspection. And I don't know about you, Rhendy, but when I have those inspections, I kind of hold my breath because sometimes the systems are old or it's undersized or there are issues with the septic or you know, or the well or the home, they had additions to it, so now it does not support the size of the home, the septic system.
Right.
So I always hold my breath. I'm like, oh, just fingers crossed.
Yep. I just always prepare my buyers that this septic system may be just limping along. And you may see some things that you don't like on the report, but as long as it's working, our hands are tied. We have to accept it in that condition. You know, if the inspector finds something that the county won't like, then we have reason to make some requests. But if it's working,
so so
it
in
could be 100 years old.
I know, gosh, it could be. So in McLean County, the way the septic would work, and I think the well is the same, right?
Yep.
So the septic and well inspections reports get sent to McLean County, or you know, typically whatever county you're in. I don't know how other counties work, but in McLean County, then the McLean County sends the buyer and the seller a note, and if you know of the findings, and if they are requiring anything to be done prior to close, that's a negotiating point again for the buyer and the seller.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, the seller can't sell the house without addressing those issues regardless at any point. I think commonly what we see in septic is Tank needs risers.
Yes.
Tank is undersized.
Needs chlorinated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tank is undersized for the size of the home, but it's grandfathered in until it needs replacement.
Yep.
So it's something to note that if you are the buyer and your septic system is undersized for your home, if you go to replace it, you will have to upgrade it to the size that is standard for that home.
Yes. And I've had to have people remove garbage disposals because a garbage disposal can count as a room toward the room count when you're talking about size of septic. So something to think about. If you've got a garbage disposal and a septic, you may have to remove it.
Yeah, and bless those septic inspectors. I don't want to do that.
No, they don't make enough money.
So more on inspections. What's normal to request during an inspection period?
So I guess we would have to talk about defects versus cosmetic issues, right?
Yeah.
The example I like to use when I'm doing my buyer consult is a roof. So a roof could be 100 years old, but if it's not leaking actively, it's not defective. It's just old. So per our contract, and other contracts may be different, out of state, but per our contract in McLean County, in Mira, we say the roof is fine as long as it's free of leaks.
Yes. However, I think I've ran into an issue with a VA or an FHA loan where there was like 1 year left on the life of the roof, and they would not want to loan money on that.
And that would be more of an appraisal issue than a home inspection issue.
Good point.
Yes, because the VA and FHA come with an extra appraisal.
Yeah. Kind of going back to, if your HVAC system is original, it's not defective if it's still working. I mean, if it's leaking carbon monoxide or leaking water or something, then obviously that's an issue and it's defective. But if it's working as designed, I guess that's what we say. If a component is working as designed, it's not defective just because it's old.
Yep. If your windows are opening and shutting, they work. Even if the sills are a little cruddy,
Yeah. So let's talk about the final walkthrough.
Yes. So final walkthrough, we want to do a final walkthrough the day before or the morning of closing, as close as you can get it to the closing, I think, as possible, just to make sure the home is in the same condition that we last saw it in, and that any repairs that needed to be done are completed.
Yes.
Yep.
And they didn't take Grandma's chandelier out and replace it with something different, and you weren't aware of that.
Yes. Exactly.
Those are some of the things, or like I've seen people take their favorite bathroom mirror and not put another mirror up.
Oh.
So I ended up buying a mirror at Target, which it was really cute.
Well, there we go. See? Problem solving.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, here's one thing to note. Once you're under contract, do not quit or switch your jobs without talking to your lender first.
Yeah, don't do that.
Because that does impact your financial picture.
Yeah.
And don't buy anything big like a ton of furniture or a car.
Yeah.
Yes, because that also affects your debt to income ratio.
It does. And that's bad.
Yes. So thanks for joining us today.
Yeah.
Again, we would love to have a buyer consultation with you if you are looking to enter the market as a buyer in the next year or so. It's never too early to start.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Selling Below Know, and check us out on YouTube and Spotify or anywhere that you listen to your podcasts.